Hello everyone and welcome back to another exciting edition of Boyographic, the show in which I, Matt the Gameboy, will take you through the highs and lows of the Gameboy library. So last week I asked you lovely people if you would like me for the rest of the month of May to run through all the Mega Man games in something I'd like to call Mega Me. And surprise surprise, the result was a resounding yes. So I shall do that. So let's pick up where we left off this week with Mega Man 3. So, we've all heard that Mega Man games are tough. The NES ones are hard, the X series is hard, and Mega Man 2 has hard man. What I was not prepared for, however, was Mega Man 3's crazy, unrelenting difficulty level, bastardly level design, and its unrivaled ability to make me scream swears at pixelated hard hats. Now, I like hard games. In announcing Mega Me, Mega Man 3's sharp spike in difficulty from its predecessor Mega Man 2 really did a number on me. I felt like a kid at a party that declared that he could drink a whole bottle of vodka unaffected, only to 10 minutes later be chuck-rocking it all over your mum's cream sofa. But I persevered, drinking and gaming responsibly as I did so. So, Mega Man 3 on the NES, that's with the number, not with the numeral, is probably my favourite of the whole series. So after kicking the Robot Master behinds of Magnet, Hard, Top and Needleman back in Mega Man 2, I was ready to go round for round with Snake, Spark, Shadow and Gemini Man, the game's first 4 Robot Masters. Meaning that after beating the first 4 Robot Masters from Mega Man 3, the player goes through a brief Wily Fortress stage before being faced to defeat Dustman, Skullman, Diveman and Drillman from Mega Man 4. All this before heading to Wily's real domain for a tricky level, a Mega Man killer and the wily old man himself. It's worth noting that if you follow the agreed upon boss order of starting with Snake Man in the first wave and Dustman in the second, you're in for a whole world of pain. While Snake Man's stage really serves to introduce the difficulty level of the game to the player, using big mechanical mini-boss snakes, the usual pitfall traps, as well as some enemies strategically plotted to hit you when you least expect it. These things alone certainly help Mega Man 3 live up to its older brother's difficulty expectations. However, Dustman's stage is a whole other level. It's ironic that the robot vacuum cleaner is a stage that needs the most cleaning up, as there are very tedious jumps to traverse, a torrent of tricky enemies, and a notorious trash compactor section that will have even the most zen of gamers gripping their DMGs in fury. Despite this huge spike in difficulty, I for one am really glad that the series was put back in the hands of Wily's Revenge's creators, Minakuchi Engineering. As while Biox did a perfectly fair job with Mega Man 2, this game's difficulty was just the right level because it felt fair. Sure, there were times where I needed to put the controller down and take 5 minutes, but the level of satisfaction in finally beating Dustman stage after almost 2 hours was a feeling that can only be described as bliss. But mark my words, to get there, you will die a lot. In fact, this game in general shouldn't really be considered an action platform game or a run and shoot title, but more in a genre of its own that I would like to refer to as a die-a-lot, and I would liken it to the Souls series, because you will die a lot, but in every death you will learn something new to push you forward. And that's when it hit me. I finally figured out while playing Mega Man 3 that this game isn't necessarily about pixel-perfect platforming or split-second reaction times, but about patience. You must weigh up the time of your attack, the height of your jump and the low flying enemies, and generally stand around learning enemy behaviour, which might sound dull, but can be extremely satisfying once you nail down how to defeat an enemy. After defeating the game's Robot Masters, it's off to Wily's Fortress for a good old-fashioned mega busting. But before the player can run Wily's gauntlet of gruesome mechanical golems, you need to get by the second of the series' Mega Man killers, named Punk. Perhaps the most accurately named of all the Mega Man killers, Punk can be a real pain in the ass. His spin attack can be devastating to your health, meaning that jumps and slides are needed to be made with a quick reaction time in order to survive. Like Enka before him, Punk can only be killed by the Mega Buster, rendering all your other hard-earned spoils useless. However, despite the challenge presented by Punk, there is no denying that he looks fantastic, just like Enka did, and proves that Minakuchi Engineering really knew what to do with this series. It's not just Punk that looks great, but the whole game does, if I'm being honest. With some real sharp sprites all the way from Snake Man's little missiles through to Wily's easily defeatable end forms, everything in this game looks great and is animated beautifully. The musical score of Mega Man 3 does simply consist of downgraded arrangement of Yakushi Fujita and Mine Fuji, but as the originals are also great, it's hardly something to complain about. I especially love Drillman's theme because it just reminds me so much of the Shadow Warrior soundtrack. That's Ninja Gaiden to you Yanks. As well as this standard formula, returning from Mega Man 2 is Rush, Mega Man's trusty canine companion, equipped with the Rush Coil and Rush Jet to help you traverse the world a little easier. E-Tanks are also returned to the series, though unlike Mega Man 3 on the NES, are not retained by the game's password system. However, the game does take some of the improvements from Mega Man 4 on the NES in the fact that the Mega Buster can finally hold a charge shot, which is a godsend in helping balance the difficulty to a much more manageable level. Also from Mega Man 4 and making his handheld debut is Eddie, the little Met-like robot created by Dr. Light to help Mega Man out in the field. Eddie can bring you a variety of power-ups such as extra lives, ammo and health restoring items, not to mention the occasional rare drop of an E-Tank. And the best bit of it is, if you're unhappy with what you get, simply don't collect the item and go back off screen. If you do this enough, you'll be swimming in E-Tanks, I guarantee it. It's also worth noting that Mega Man 3 was the first of the Game Boy releases not to see a reprint as a greatest hits cart, so it isn't as readily available as the first two entries in the Game Boy. So while it doesn't cost nearly as much as Mega Man 4 and 5, it can still be a lot for a game you don't know if you'll have the patience to complete. In short, and in all honesty, as much as I like this game, Mega Man 3 is probably only for the die-hard Mega Man fans and Game Boy collectors. It's not an easy entry into the series like Mega Man 2 before it, nor does it get the difficulty right across the board like Wily's Revenge. While it looks, plays and sounds fantastic, the likes of Dustman Stage and even the end Wily Fortress feel to me at least like things that would seriously make a more casual gamer put down the controller in frustration very quickly. If you are a gaming sadist, then go for it, but consider yourself warned. Mega Man 3 is definitely the epitome of the difficult Mega Man game you've heard so much about. And that brings us to the end of another Boyographic, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed, and sorry that this one's a bit longer, I guess. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe and tell others you think may be interested in it, because that's how this channel gets around. You can also check out some more about Boyographic videos, in which I look at the highs and lows of the Game Boy library one card at a time. Check out some more Boy Curious videos, where I look at some bootlegs and oddities for the system, as well as some All the Glory, where I take out all of the deaths and give you a long play with none of the faff, but all the glory. Until next week, Game Boys and Girls, where I'll be playing Mega Man 4. Game on.